All right, let's listen a little bit to Roma Army.
World. Not because any evidence actually is suggesting that right now. It's just because I say so, right? Because when I think about men, I don't see them as human beings. So I compare the average man to like the 1%. I'm like, why are there so many men in politics and in Hollywood and blah, 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 even though that's like 1%, right? So they're not looking at little Timmy that's suffering. It's clearly not a man's world for Timmy. Timmy's falling behind in education. He's the first to get killed by the police. Workplace deaths are super high for him. Suicide rate, addiction rate. He's the highest victims of violent crimes. His incarceration rate is super high if he happens to be a son of a single mom. Like,
so Roma Army, she's on YouTube, she's on X. Check her out. But I feel like she's the counter to Pearl. And then she's speaking up for men. She's speaking up for men. And frankly, there is just such a lack. There's such a void. When I could think about like all the women who speak up for men, I can only think of two. And Pearl, she does it all day, every day. She's made it her life's like mission to just basically crap on women. And then she's actually turned racist. So now she's crapping on black folks too. So I guess she's just appealing to what she thinks is the common, ordinary white male, right? So, crap on the women, crap on all the minorities, the brown, black, the beautiful mahogany and the earth tone terracotta people. So this has to do with the woman who pepper sprayed her DoorDash order in order to go against this guy. He drunkenly calls DoorDash, orders some food. She gets to the door is like adjacent, and he's in the living room, passed out naked. Now, I want to know the perception, the perspective of the thing, because ultimately, right is right and wrong is wrong. And just because she's a woman, just because he's a guy, that doesn't mean one thing or another. One person, person A, person B. Let's just do it that way. Because what she's saying, she opens the door, right? She brings the food up, and I guess she wants a tip or to sign the thing. But it was like, just leave I think he had called her and said, just leave the food at the door. But he's like all passed out, naked with his pants down below her leg. Roma Army says that's happened to her before. It's never happened to me. But I could understand someone just being drunk and then getting hungry and then ordering some food and then just kind of being so out of it they can't really even get to the door. But if it's by credit card, then that means the purchase is already ordered. Put it by the door and, maybe they get it, maybe they don't get it. It's nice to be able to hand it to the person. But she opens the door up and she videotapes the guy who's on the couch who's, naked. And then she posted all over on TikTok, and then people are like laughing at his genitals. And then she's like getting, a bunch of support. Like people are like, hell yeah, you're finally giving it to these stupid ass men. You got sexually assaulted. Now, if he had opened up the door and he's totally naked and just, is one of those trench coat guys, right? Just a trench coat guy in a parking lot just flashing people. Okay, that's one thing. It is the human body, but that would be entrapment. That would be a total trick, right? It's like, hey, yeah, I want to get some pizza, and then they show up to the door and you're just completely in the nude. Okay, that's unsettling. But you're inside your house. There is an expectation of privacy in your own house. Well, this woman actually got charged. The DoorDash order lady actually got charged because she did two things. First, she posted that crap on TikTok, and then the other thing, she had pepper sprayed her DoorDash order. And I think it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So it's like, oh, you're going to... And then later on, it was like, no, I was pepper spraying a spider. There was a spider that was behind it. And then they eat it, and then they're puking, they're retching the next day. Let's listen to some more Roma Army.
it is not a man's world for the average man, but most women don't see men as human beings. So, well, not most. I shouldn't say most. There are so many good women out here. I don't want to end up being... Hold on. I think my dogs are fucking around. I don't want to end up being jaded like these women and just being like, oh, it's all of them. No, it's not. There are a lot of good women. However, that woman belongs to the percentage of women that I call the radical crazies, right? They're like the oppression Olympics winner They just have to be the first to get there. It's not a man's world.
Roma Army has actually said a lot of like really good stuff that has pulled me through a lot of stuff, because it's baffling about how, you know, some women treat men. It's baffling. You know, you might grow up thinking that they're pure, they're holy, they're good. They can empathize. They have your best interest in mind. They got your back. You know, they want you to succeed. They want you to do well. So I guess if you think that they belong on a pedestal, right, they deserve the privileges that they have because, well, they're better than men. And then it comes to find out that they're just as bad as men, maybe worse. Well, that's fucking disappointing. That's like that's a crash out. That's like, man, that fucking sucks. So you suck too. Okay, he sucks, you suck. I mean, woman is man, so I guess that shouldn't have been too shocking. Wait a second. He's a piece of shit and you're a piece of shit? You're both pieces of shit? What the fuck? So, you know, that could be unsettling for people. Let's keep listening. She once said that women should start in prison and then have to work their way out, which is a funny concept. And I don't know, maybe we all should start from prison and work our way out. Why do you think you get to join society? Why you're going to get out in the society, and what are you going to do? What are you going to do with all of us? What are you going to do? What are you going to contribute? How are you going to add to the what we're doing here?
It hasn't been a man's world in a really long time. Like a really long time. Am I crazy for thinking that?
No, I think it's, you know, it fluctuates. It goes back and forth. But if you ever looked at a relationship, who has the power? Does the man, the stupid man, the dumb man, the man that loves her and, you know, worships her and works the job and does all the things, and then she sits around and wears leggings and cheats? Who has the power? Who wears the pants? I don't know. Maybe she could pretend he's wearing the pants or whatever, but she's definitely in a privilege, even in, you know, a housewife. Even if she's a Stepford housewife, she's still in a privileged position. Like Bill Burr said, she's off the grid. And she's what, having to put a DVD in for her kids? Like that's her job, is to, you know, basically be amongst her family. Like that's not only is that not a hard job, but that's like the dream. She's living the dream. So that's what traditional stepwife, you know, Stepford wives, who has children, who's raising children. But there's women out here wears leggings and cheats. So if you look at a relationship between man and woman, it looks a lot of times, most of the time, that the woman is in charge. Now, in terms of the 1%, yeah, the politics and the bankers, you know, a lot of those are still Caucasian, light-skinned men. But men have to get the tough jobs. I mean, everything, all those statistics that she just rattled off the top of her head. If anything, Roma Army is actually giving me hope, because by her speaking up for men, I could go back to speaking up for women. You know, like Alec Baldwin said, I guess, we're all redeemable. And so people can change and people can, you know, become virtuous and be committed to goodness. I asked a police officer, are you committed to goodness? And so when it comes to the battle of the genders, you know, men, are you committed to goodness? Women, are you committed to goodness? Because if you're not, you need to be. Virtue is tied in with happiness. That's according to George Washington. Virtue is tied in with happiness.
Anyways, if you thought it stopped there, if you were like, wow, this DoorDash girl, she just must be an anomaly, right? She, you know, what crazy person would do this, right? Okay. There is another DoorDash felon. I'm going to do my very best.
Okay, so this is separate. The woman that pepper sprayed the food is separate than the woman that videotaped the man's genitalia and then posted it all over the internet. She's being charged with like unlawful surveillance, dissemination of genitalia, something like that. Like those are really the charges. And then this other woman, she got charged with pepper spraying the food, and I'm not for sure what that whole case is about.
To be as respectful as I can, because I have a lot of jokes in here, but body shaming is not my thing. So, I just gotta show you this. Okay.